I mean, where do you go regards Chelsea, Neil? At the moment, they could have done with getting something from that. They didn't. They lost by a single goal to nil. But what about Potter and his time there already?
Yeah, I think they've set the stall out me this season. I don't see anything happening regarding Graeme. I think in the circumstances, they've got quite a lot of injuries. They've got a lot of youngsters as well, and I think it's just one of those things. He's going to. I think he will be given time. I mean, that's hard to say at Chelsea, isn't it, after what they've had in the past? But I think he will this time, because I think they're renowned. I think they know they're not going to get in the top four. So I don't see the point of changing it. And I thought they did. I mean, I didn't see first half last night, if I'm honest. I watched Downton Abbey. The first half.
Keeping your eye on Neil.
But the second half, I only saw Man City play well. So, but Gallagher, I think they're going to need people like Gallagher, aren't they? The way you come on, and I used to have one or two players like that, and they used to come on and rattle the cages and put and then put people under pressure, and I think it lifted the crowd and lifted everybody else, and so I think he'll go with a few kids, but you can't have too many kids in the Premier League. Well, I just think you've just got to get the lads together and just say, look, the minimum requirement is 100% effort, and we've got to get the crowd behind us and just give everything you've got. I don't think they've got to be too harsh. If I'm honest, at the minute, you're always going to get fans like that everywhere you go. You're going to get fans that ring up and tell you where you're going wrong. But you can't tell me who they could bring in at the moment with the squad they've got. I mean, he didn't. I don't think he signed the left back from Brighton, did he? When that happened and that sort of money, I would gobsmack that, because I don't think he can defend. He had that. He had him already there. I know I knew him, but I just look at him and I mean, they've got good bits and bad bits, haven't they? And I think we've just got to persevere with it. I just don't see a Conte type bloke coming in and doing anything other than wanting to spend more money, etc., etc. And
but Neil, is a guy like Aubameyang the type that you need at Chelsea at this time, when there's a bit to be done to get them up that table?
Yeah. And
there he is. He's subbed on. He's subbed off.
Well, I think with him sometimes you get players like that, and you're better off. You're better off without him, really. But the shorter strikers, etc. But it's one of those things that, as a young manager, he's not been in the game all that long, Graeme. And people like him they are after themselves, really. They look after themselves as players, and they'll throw the manager under the bus as soon as rather than take any blame. So I think it's one of them things. He's just got to get on with it and deal with it. Similar to what's happened at Man United with Ronaldo, really. I mean, I said pre-season, bloody hell, they should let him go quickly, Ronaldo, because he's going to upset everything else. And that was no disrespect how he was as a player. It's just personality-wise. And I don't think what is it? Is it Tigers never change the spots, or is it Leopards? I can't remember.
Leopards, I would have thought.
All right, fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'll ever change. From Arsenal to Chelsea now, he looks the same type of player. On his day, as good as you'll see, but his days are few and far between at times.
I'm trying to think. Tigers have got spots. Neil,
which one is it, Ray? Only when you've had a few drinks, Ray.
Yeah, exactly.
Only when you've had a few drinks.
I mean, to cut Potter a bit of slack, Sterling, Pulisic, both had to be taken off in the first 20 minutes.
Well, we've got James Chilwell, two attacking fullbacks as well.
It's an already a very lengthy injury list, and it's getting longer by the minute.
People just worry that he may be out of his depth, because no disrespect to Brighton, Neil will tell you this, you can get away with losing a couple of games in a row, and then you can get a win. At Chelsea you can't. The performance has got to be spot on. You've got to get the results. 10th in the table at the moment would be worrying for Chelsea fans. Can they get in the top six, Neil? I'm not too sure about that either. Six.
You've mentioned two players there, Ray. I mean, you imagine your best two. I think they're the best two defenders. Chilwell and James. And I do, to be without some two players like that to start with, then lose, like you said, the two strikers last night, he'll be thinking at the minute everything's going against him. But I'm not sure you can. I'd say he's out of his depth. I think that it's a bit like the lad at Southampton. He went to Stoke and didn't do very well, and now he's at Southampton, and I worry about him. And the same, I don't worry about Potter as much. I think Potter's seen it all and done it all with the Brighton. And yes, I know it's a different level, but I think he built something there, and I don't see anybody better than him at the minute, if I'm honest. I think that they should persevere, and I were pleased with the crowd in general. I mean, like I said, you're always going to get one or two people that's going to criticise you because Chelsea are 10th and they should be in top 4 according to everybody else. But these things happen. You know, Man United a few weeks ago, I think they were nearly halfway down, weren't they?
I think goals are the problem at the moment. Where they're going to come from for Chelsea, Ray, that is the problem he's got.
Yeah. Absolutely, and
Chelsea are not scoring as many goals.
I'm amazed
that
they're linked to Fernandes because look, he's a very good player, but for 106 million, which has been reported, surely they'd be looking at a striker more because
I'd agree
they haven't got no number 9s, have they? I mean, Aubameyang's doesn't look like he's at the races at the moment. They struggle with Lukaku. He's at the club at the moment. You go back to the Drogba. That's when they had proper number 9s, Hasselbank and people like that. But that's where I'll be spending my money, Neil, because I think the midfield area, Kovacic, you've got Mount, you've got Jorginho, you've got lots and lots of players in that midfield area.
You have, but do you know January, Ray? It's the most difficult time to get good players. Everybody's after the same players. When you just said that, I thought to myself, 100 million for for a more or less a wide player, I just can't. I think when you look around at strikers, where are they? Where are they that's going to improve your team? I mean, it's pointless just buying somebody for the sake of it.
Yeah.
So I think it's very difficult in January. I mean, I were always glad to see back a Jim White on bloody deadline day.
No yellow tie.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I was always glad to see the back of him as well.
I know. I used to think, oh my God, get to 11 o'clock, let's get off home.
I know what you mean.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.